Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. It's finally over, isn't it? It's finally over. This whole Kounde situation is finally over. It's not gone well at all, and I'm going to come to that very shortly in a little bit. We have one bigger story though in related to Chelsea Football Club, and that's about another defender. So we're going to come to that. Before I do though, I want to let you know, the usual. Where is it that you go to for your latest football information? Where is it that you go to for your latest? Where is it that you go to find out what is going on in the world of transfers, in the world of football? There's only one place. It's the One Football app. So hit the link in the description if you haven't done so already. If you don't have it on your phone yet and you wonder why I'm rambling on about it every single flipping video, or most videos, not every video, I do make it clear it's the best place to go to for all of your info, your latest. And then as we get into the new season, all your fixtures, all your results, all your player stats, all your team stats from wherever, which league in the world, it's there. So make sure you download the One Football app. Link in the description. Hit that now and enjoy. Let's get to a certain central defender. And it's not the one that you're thinking of. No, we're going to start off with what benefits Chelsea Football Club before we start looking at what's benefited other football clubs, right? Fofana. Chelsea are now linked with Wesley Fofana of Leicester City. Chelsea apparently are making a move for. And this one could cost an arm and a leg. But what I do want to say off the bat, before I show you anything, is Chelsea are now linked with Fofana. You know what that means, right? You know what that means. Come on. No? You haven't figured it out. Come on. Are you an amateur in this game or what? Barcelona are going to end up interested in Fofana too, aren't they? Give them about 24 hours. We'll be hearing Gerard Romero talking about Fofana. Calma Fofana. Calma Fofana. We're going to come to the whole Kounde situation shortly. But starting off with Fofana, let me show you what has happened, because Chelsea have moved away and they are exploring other options, and it looks like we are going after Fofana. But is this something that can actually happen? Bobby Vincent gives us the lowdown as of, well, this morning. Check it out. After missing out on Jules Kounde, CFC could now turn attention to Wesley Fofana. I'm told the Blues are looking at a move for the Leicester defender. Presnel Kimpembe, Josko Gvardiol and Milan Skriniar remain options. So Fofana. Would this be a good player to go and get? This is going to get interesting. But there's more info. So let me show you what's going on. There's expected to be contact this week with Fofana's representatives. Chelsea have had an eye on Fofana ever since he moved to Leicester in 2020. Last season was disrupted after breaking his leg 12 months ago. CFC impressed with how he's bounced back, and in relatively swift time too. At 21, there's genuine belief he can become a world-class centre-back. Leicester are in a strong bargaining position though, after Fofana signed a 2-year contract extension in March. And this is where, personally, I think it's going to get difficult. Because Fofana at Leicester has a contract until 2027. He's still got 5 years left on this deal. Do you know how much it's going to cost to get someone to give up a 5-year contract? To buy out a 5-year contract who's 21 years old with a high ceiling? This is going to cost an arm and a leg. But there's more info. So let's get into this. Starting off with Simon Phillips. He says, Leicester are in a position where they need to sell players to sign players. This has given Chelsea some hope they might be more willing to do a deal for Fofana at a lesser price than £80 million. This is what is being quoted about that Leicester might be up for, which is understandable. I would say. Understandable. Simon Phillips goes on to say more. I imagine to even get a good conversation going, Chelsea would need to be offering around 70 million plus. And this comes from RJP Journalism, who is part of a few Chelsea pages, and he reckons that it would cost around 70 million for us to even start getting entertained by Leicester City. We're going to have to fork out that sort of number. Sky Sports, who initially, I think one of the journalists at Sky Sports were the ones that broke this story, came out and said this in relation to Fofana. Chelsea are interested in signing Wesley Fofana, but any deal is unlikely. Leicester consider the defender, who just signed a new contract, indispensable. Only a ridiculous offer would change their mind. So we have to try and analyse this now properly. Are Leicester in a situation where if they really want to buy, or do they even have to buy, that they'll have to let go? Because if that's the case, it gives us some of the bargaining power. But I truly don't think this is going to be the situation that we had with Ben Chilwell, for example. Ben Chilwell, if you remember, was being quoted at 70 million, 80 million. Do you guys remember? How much did we end up getting him for? About 50. We got a good deal with Chilwell. Fantastic deal with Ben Chilwell. You remember the times we all wanted Sergio Reguilon? Good times. But we got a good deal with Chilwell. Some reckon that because it's Leicester, it's going to be the same with Fofana. I think it's different. They've just agreed to let Schmeichel go to Nice. Now, I don't know where that's come from. That's a bit of a shock for me. Who are Leicester getting in as a new goalkeeper to replace Schmeichel? It's a weird one. Maybe that's the one that they felt like they've had to let go in order to raise some funds. Now, to let go of Fofana on top of that, I mean, that's a big portion of your entire defensive structure that you're letting go to what? Then try and get a defender in for maybe 30 million instead? I don't know. Personally, at that age, that size of a contract, it's still 2027 is a long time. You remember how much we had to pay for Kepa because he was on a 7-year deal? We only done that because he was on a 7-year deal. If not, it would have cost much less. It's a big deal. 80 million is around the fee that they want. To even start conversations, we'd have to fork up 70. It's going to be quite the sum. Now, when you think about it on another level, we were willing to pay what for Kounde? Who's better between Kounde and Fofana? Who has the higher ceiling? Who would you much rather go to? I've heard quite a few say they'd rather go for Fofana. Personally, I wouldn't mind. The only thing that's concerning about Fofana was his leg break. The one good thing about Fofana is that he's 21 years old. He's young, so that sort of thing can heal quite quickly. And it was a clean break. It was a clean snap. So in terms of like trying to really get bone to come back together, if it does, chances are it's going to be just as it was before the break because he's 21 years old. That sort of thing can heal very quickly. If he was any older, it'd be a problem. But he's come back. He's bounced back quite well. Can we actually get a relatively good deal for Fofana? My gut instinct, personally, I think of this. Would I take Fofana? Absolutely. 100%. Do I think Chelsea are going to get Fofana? No. I don't think Leicester are going to entertain anything less than 70 million. I don't think Chelsea are going to pay 70 or 80 million for Fofana. I just don't see it. But you never know. You never know. Will Chelsea cough up? Maybe we'll be forced to. Maybe we'll be forced to, and we might be forced to. Why? Because let's get to other news, and then we'll understand exactly why we might be forced to fork up the money for Fofana. Because right now, other places are just not looking good. And let's start off with this guy. Jules Kounde to Barcelona, here we go. We've been waiting 2 years for that here we go. And it hasn't come to Chelsea, it's come to flipping Barcelona. Unbelievable. Verbal agreement now in place with Sevilla after the long saga and further negotiations today, waiting to get it signed soon. Jules Kounde agreed personal terms with Barca last weekend. Contract ready. Xavi, key factor again. I have to mention this. Let's just side away from the defense situation. That last phrase that he said there, right? Jules Kounde already agreed personal terms with Barca last weekend. Yeah? We put the bid in and got everything accepted, well, in terms of the paperwork and waiting for the green light, Thursday, before Barca agreed personal terms with Jules Kounde. We were there waiting for something to happen. Contract ready, Xavi, key factor again. How come Xavi is able to get this pull and Thomas Tuchel can't? I have to say this. I love Thomas Tuchel and I think he's a top manager. And I think in terms of where we want to go, in terms of the team we're trying to build, I don't think we can find anyone better right now than Thomas Tuchel. And what he's done for us and the Champions League and all of that, it's quite remarkable and I love him because of it. Fantastic. But I have to be honest here. His pull doesn't seem as strong as a Xavi. Xavi, who's got no experience in management. He's got some experience in Qatar. He's got 1 year's experience, maybe less, at Barcelona. Actually, less, yeah. Less than 1 year, 1 season experience at Barcelona. And he's just able to pull in these lads. Is it because he's Xavi? Is it because the player was magnificent that people think the manager will be unreal? I would like to think that professionals on that sort of level would be able to understand that just because you were a top player doesn't mean you're going to be a top manager. You might. You very well might. I'm not taking that away from you. But just because a manager wasn't a top player doesn't mean that he's not a top manager. So what is it that Xavi is doing that Thomas Tuchel isn't? Because I know some people are going to turn around and say, oh, but Barcelona, it's FC Barcelona. And yes, it is. Maybe the name itself, Barcelona, is like, whoa. But when you're talking about now, the last few years, and where the club stand right now, Barca in this financial struggle, Chelsea having won the Champions League 2 seasons ago, Chelsea looking to try and compete for the Premier League title, the project is there. But what is it we're not selling? Because when you look at Barcelona, what have they done in the last few years? Their trophies, let's go to what they've actually won. The last thing they've won was their version of the FA Cup, the Copa del Rey in 2021. The same month that we won the Champions League, they won the Copa del Rey. They haven't won La Liga since 2019. They haven't won the Champions League since 2015. They haven't won the Super Cup since 2018. That's the Spanish Super Cup, by the way, not the UEFA Super Cup. The UEFA Super Cup they haven't won since they won the Champions League. So they're not exactly piling in the trophies, but there's a project there that Xavi seems to be selling, whereas Thomas Tuchel can't. It's mad and it's weird, considering Barca are not in a strong financial position. They are in a mess. They're trying to sort that mess, but they are in a mess. Yet they're still able to pull in these lads, and we can't. And they're taking them from us. From us. We wanted Rafinha. No, I want to play for Barcelona. We wanted Kounde. Can we get that done? We're waiting for the green light. Xavi comes in. One phone call. Yo, Kounde, what are you saying? Barca? Yeah, lovely jubbly. Cool. Contract's on the way. Agreed personal terms. What is it we're not doing? I have to ask Thomas Tuchel that. That goes to TT. Because he's meant to be working with Todd Boehly and trying to get these players through the door. The manager does need to make contact with the players in order to sell the project on the pitch, and that's Thomas Tuchel's responsibility. What is it he's not doing that Xavi is? Have to be real. On top of that, we have a defensive situation that I want to bring us back to. Kounde's now gone to Barcelona. That's not happening. So if Chelsea now feel forced to get Fofana for 70 million or whatnot, we have to pay that money. Why? Because other targets doesn't look like it's happening either. One example being Kimpembe. Presnel Kimpembe has made the decision to stay at PSG this summer. Well, that's done then. So Kimpembe is now out. You know, all these players that we've been linked with, they're falling like flies. They're all falling like flies. And then we have to turn to new players. And I'm starting to get... I don't like to say this, but I'm starting to get the feeling now that we're starting to panic buy. We're just starting to look to, okay, look, who can, not even, no, what profile of player, what does this player bring? No. Look, yo, who can play centre back? Yo, Fofana, yo, okay, bid. Like, I'm starting to feel like we're starting to do that. You know, we're starting to turn to players we weren't interested in at all. We're going to plan D. We're going to plan E, you know, and that can turn into panic buying. So, yeah. We'll wait and see what happens. My concern isn't Fofana, because I take Fofana. Fofana, when you look at it, technically not a panic buy. Fofana's a top player. 21 years old with a high ceiling, can be world class, I think would be a great investment. But I don't see it happening because I think the deal is unrealistic. I just don't see Leicester letting him go. So if we can't get Fofana, who are we going for? I don't see Skriniar leaving Inter Milan, and if he does, maybe it's going to be PSG or someone. Gvardiol is the only logical option left on the table, and if that doesn't happen, well, we've run out of all options. At that point, we might as well keep Baba Rahman. So, we'll see. Well, talking about keeping players, right? What's happening with Azpilicueta? Let's check. Fabrizio Romano tells us about the latest. Barcelona have confirmed again to Cesar Azpilicueta their intention to negotiate again with Chelsea in order to sign him. No full agreement between the clubs yet, as Tuchel would love to keep Azpi, but Barcelona will be on it again after completing the Kounde deal. This one is a weird one. Why? I love Azpi. Right? I think in terms of what he's done and what he's brought to us, fantastic. Why does Thomas Tuchel want to keep him? You know, but all due respect to Azpi and what he's accomplished, we have to move on. We saw what Azpi was like towards the end of last season. You know, there are some games for some minutes where, yes, he looks good. But in terms of the actual physical intensity that we need in this defence, in order to actually bomb forward if he is being used as a right wing back, as a right centre back for him to be able to keep up, his legs are beginning to go. I can see why Barca are interested in him for the experience, for some cover. It's good quality, it's cheap, he's not expensive. Great. But in terms of Chelsea, we have to move on from these lads. We have to try and get some new young blood in that's going to compete at a high level. Aspi, we already know his legs are going. Alonso's legs are going. We can see this. Why is it we want to keep him? You know? Or are we trying to do that to try and get Barca to maybe up the stakes? Which I completely agree with, by the way. Up the stakes. I do not want us to sell to Barca for a bargain. Hell no. After what they've done, I'm not against selling to them. But my goodness, I want to pinch every single penny that I can take from that football club. If it was another club coming in for Aspi, yeah, 4 million euros, no problem. Go on, take him. Barcelona, there's a tax. There's a Barca tax on now for any Chelsea player. Yeah? You want a player that can normally go for 4 million? Yo, you're paying 10 million. Give us 10 million. More than double. Yeah, because it's Barca. You clearly have some money, yeah? You've been taking our targets. Yo, I'm going to rinse you. I'm going to try and rinse you, right? You can have the player because it would be worse technically keeping Aspi on our books right now. Not in terms of wages, but in terms of just the player, you know? We need to try and get this squad going now. We need to try and rejuvenate this squad. We need to try and inject some new blood into this squad. So, yeah. We'll see what happens with Aspi. I do think he'll go to Barca, but I better see that we do not let him go for peanuts. If we allow a bid to come in from Barca and we accept and it's for 3 million or 4 million, I'm going to flip. I'm going to flip. I'm happy to do business with Barca, but clearly they have money, right? We all thought they were broke. Clearly they have money stacked somewhere. Rinse them. Rinse them, right? Simple as that. And that's nothing against Barcelona fans or even Barcelona. You've come and you've done your business. But clearly on a business level, yo, you have money. Okay, I want your money. Simple. That's it. So, the latest elsewhere, and we're going to end with this, is Hakim Ziyech. What's going on here then? So, we had this come out earlier. Hakim Ziyech will be allowed to leave Chelsea for as little as £8.4 million this summer, but will have to reduce his salary to join AC Milan. He is a key target for the Serie A side, seen as being better suited to the league than other targets. Thomas Tuchel feels that Hakim Ziyech is not disciplined enough and is happy to let him leave Chelsea this summer. That has come from the Mail. I'll be honest, I can see where this is coming from. It's the same sort of vibe that we've got from Lukaku. There's a certain vibe around some players, yeah? Some players that they're just too relaxed. They're just too, you know, like, yeah, I've got to train, innit? Let's train. Or, you know, you're on the pitch. I've got to play. All right, let's go. You know, that sort of, I get it. Now, maybe that's not Hakim Ziyech's nature. Maybe, you know, in terms of how he is, maybe he is driven. Maybe he's just demotivated. But still, we don't have time for that. We just don't have time. And on the pitch, in terms of the way that Thomas Tuchel wants us to play, it's clear that Ziyech has not fit in and he would be best going elsewhere. Even if he does blow up elsewhere, it would be best for him and it would be best for us. So, yeah. We'll see what happens there. But the worst thing would be to keep him against his will and he doesn't go to AC and he sticks around and then we end up with an unhappy bunch of players at the club. We don't want that. Same goes for Timo Werner. Same goes for some other lads. We don't want that. So we've got to try and offload. And this is where some more concern comes in. As I've already explained in previous videos, I don't see it happening in 5 weeks. Can we do it? We're going to have to hope clubs are going to come in for these lads. Simple. And hope we get something done. And then we have to replace them with quality that actually want to be here. So we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts on everything I've discussed today. Also, to end, I have to say this. I am a man of my word. And I am going to be honest. In relation to Jules Kounde, Gerard Romero, fair enough. Well done. I put my hands up. He got it spot on. He got it absolutely nailed on. His faith in this deal was there from the beginning. He rode it through. He stuck through it. He has succeeded. He is now seeing Kounde joining Barca. They beat us for Rafinha. They've beat us for Kounde. And he was spot on both deals. So look, I have to put my hands up and say, Romero, Gerard, you've done absolutely fantastic. As a journalist, your words have proven to be 100% true, and I respect it. So, congrats on Kounde. But if you want Aspi, you're going to have to fork out the money. Simple. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash like button if you've enjoyed this. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good one, people, in a bit. Take care and peace.